Hey everybody out there, so today for you guys, we're going to be profiling for you a deck that, oh my gosh, this deck I really enjoy, and it's been fun to play with, and it's very nostalgic for an old school player such as myself. And that deck, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is Jinzo, aka Jizno. Jizno. But yeah, this deck is a deck that I've wanted to profile for you guys for quite some time. And it's not a competitive deck because traps are not heavily used right now in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But overall, like fun-wise, and you will win games, yeah. At locals, yeah, you will have fun and you will do good. I haven't seen in real life somebody play a Jizno deck probably since 2013, 2012, probably 2012, when one of my friends played against it. He built the deck for fun. He got bored with it like after 2 weeks and he threw it away. But with the new support that's come out over the years and with new cards that have come out, I've tried to make a deck that functions well and is adapted to the current game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So we'll get into the deck profile. We'll talk about the different techs I've run, different things you can try out as we get into the deck profile. So let's, without further ado, get into the deck. So first off, we run our three Jinzos, I know. Our three Jinzos, and I decided to go with this, the anniversary artwork, because I've always loved that ever since it came out. But beautiful artwork, by the way. That was apparently, if I remember correctly, that was done by Kazuka Takahashi because his initials are down there. But yeah, Jinzo, if you guys know old school Yu-Gi-Oh, you know how much this card was used back in the day. GOAT format, Dad format, for probably the first, let me think here, 7-8 years of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Jinzo was used in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays, you don't see Jinzo anymore because, traps are not prevalent. He's a tribute monster. But back in the day, this guy was a powerhouse. And even on the anime show, you guys know how powerful this card was. It was one of Joey's best cards. But we run 3 of him because he's your main purpose of how this deck functions. And this deck is catered to bringing Jinzo out very quickly. So, yeah. Next, we run 3 Jinzo Jector. Jinzo Jector is a pretty interesting card. This card is probably the newest Jinzo monster, quote-unquote. If you guys don't know what it does, I'm going to read it to you very quickly, a little synopsis here. This card's name becomes Jinzo while on the field or graveyard. You contribute this card, add 1 Jinzo monster from your deck to your hand, except Jinzo Jector. Then reveal all set cards your opponent's spell or trap zone. If there are any trap cards among them, you can special summon a Jinzo monster from your hand, up to the number of trap cards revealed. You can only use the effect of Jinzo Jector once per turn. So this guy helps special summon out Jinzo. As you see though, traps. Your opponent's got to be playing some type of traps to play this deck. If they're not playing a lot of traps, well, not as good, but he does help you and give you the ability to search out Jinzo monsters, which is nice. So overall, he's definitely a staple as a 3 of in the deck, and is the newest Jinzo monster. I think he came out in Arc 5, but yeah, 3 Jinzos. Jectors. Next we run 3 Jinzo Returners. Now Jinzo Returner, from what I've read, because this card came out I think in the GX era, does miss timing, quote unquote, but is still a staple as a 3 of in the deck. I asked a judge friend of mine, I messaged him the card, I asked him to look it up. And he's like, I think it misses timing, but I've never had a ruling on Jinzo Return, so I don't know. But he's like, I'm pretty sure it does miss timing. But forgive me if I'm incorrect about that. So what does this guy do? Some of you guys may not know. I'm going to read him quickly too. This card can attack your opponent directly. While this card is sent to the graveyard, you can summon 1 Jinzo from your graveyard, then destroy it during the end phase. So what this allows you to do is set you up for Jinzo Lord, which we'll talk about here in a second. But the good thing about Jinzo Returner is he helps you revive your Jinzos if they're engraved, which is pretty essential to do. But yeah, you run definitely 3 Jinzo Returner. You're able to send them through grave to multiple means, mainly Dark Grepher and Armageddon Knight and some other ways. But yeah, you definitely want this guy as a 3 of in your deck. Next we run the Jinzo Lord. Yes, we run 1 Jinzo Lord. Now some people run 1 to 2 Jinzo Lords, and I'm going to read to you guys what this guy does very quickly, but he's an awesome card. He's actually, believe it or not, when I was purchasing these about 6 months ago, when I was starting to get the deck together, this guy was like $7-8 at the time. I don't know if he's still maintained that price point, but yeah, Jinzo Lords are apparently expensive now. So this card states, this card can't be normal summon or set. This card can't be special summon except by sending one face-up Jinzo you control to the graveyard. Trap cards can't be activated, and the effects of all trap cards on the field are negated. Once per turn, you can destroy all face-up trap cards. Inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each trap card destroyed. So, now, forgive me if I am incorrect on this. I had to, because some of these rulings have not come up in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! And with the evolution of the game, you got to ask people that know a little bit more than you in Yu-Gi-Oh! To make sure things are correct. So I asked one of my judge friends, again, my same friend, I have two good judge friends. I asked both of them, actually. I said, does Jinzo Lord stop evenly matched and impermanence from hand? The answer I got is, because it says activation, that is correct. Now, if they're incorrect, or if I'm incorrect for saying that, I do apologize. But for what I've been told, I'm just passing on what my judge friends said. You know, they've judged YCSs, so that's what they've told me. And apparently Jinzo Lord stops evenly matched and impermanence from activating from hand. So yeah, Jinzo Lord is amazing. Now, you could run this guy as a 2-of, but he does get bricky. I will completely say that. And he is searchable to some degree, thanks to, you know, Jinzo Jector and whatnot. But definitely you only want to, you can run 1 to 2. 3 is way too much, but he's a really useful card to bring out, and he's really fun to play around with. So yes, 1 Jinzo Lord. Now, next up we run 3 Cyber Dragon. Now, you may be saying to yourself, why in heaven's name are you running Cyber Dragon in 2019 in a non-Cyber Dragon deck? Well, there's 3 reasons for that, which we're going to go over right now for you guys. Number 1, he can be used as tribute fodder, just like in the old days. Now, back in the day, some of you guys may be too young for this, you would special summon the Cyber Dragon. Then you would tribute the Cyber Dragon for 1 tribute monster, aka a lot of the time that was, who was it? Jinzo, right? So yeah, so now you see where that's going. It's tribute fodder, number 1. Number 2, it's a light attribute. We do run a light and dark engine in this deck, which is kind of cool because I run some BLSs and whatnot. You'll start to see that more as we get more into the deck. So light attribute is key. And number 3, it gives you access to Mega Fleet Dragon and also gives you access to Cyber Dragon Zweger. So you can go into this guy, or if you need to crack a board, guess what you can go into? Mega Fleet. So you literally can, if you're, you know, Jinzo can stop traps. Jinzo can get around a lot of monsters to some degree because of his attack is decent. But what are you going to do about those monsters you can't target that are big? Hey, I know how to crack a board. Let's go into Mega Fleet. Hey, I need to run over a big monster. There you go. There's your answer. So it allows you to go into those aspects of the deck that you would otherwise not have access to if you weren't running Cyber Dragons. So a Cyber Dragon, just little package like this, works wonders. And believe me, don't hate it till you try it. Next we run 2 Summoner Monk. Now Summoner Monk, the reason we run Summoner Monk is because it helps you tutor out some of your important key cards of the deck. It helps you tutor out Jinzo Jector, which is very important to some degree. Okay, so you can bring out Jinzo Jector. You can bring out your Dark Grepher, which we run as a 1-of in the deck. And it can also help you bring out your Armageddon Knight from your deck. So this allows you to dump things if you need to. Mainly you're going to bring out Armageddon Knight, not Dark Grepher, but mostly Armageddon Knight. And then you can also bring out Jinzo Jector if you need to. Summoner Monk can help tutor things out. You have a lot of AKA spell cards that are combo related that can become dead, and if you run into that situation, you can pitch it to bring out Jinzo Jector, or you know, to go into a rank 4 or go into an Exceed play if you need to. Go into a rank 4 Exceed, or you can go into a Link 2 Exceed. and then maybe possibly work your way up the ladder, depending upon the situation and what cards you have in hand. But overall, like I said, definitely double Summon a Monk is essential to the deck. It really comes in handy. Triple you could go with, but I'm not too much of a fan of that. Again, like I said, you run your 1 Armageddon Knight and your 1 Dark Grepher. Now these guys help you dump to the graveyard a Jinzo if you need to maybe possibly not even tribute for it, but just special summon it by reborning it. Or it can help you send things like Jinzo Returner to the graveyard to activate Jinzo Returner's effect. You get the gist. So overall, it's very useful for that aspect, and I really enjoy these cards as a 2-of in the deck. Next, we run double BLS. Why do we run BLS? Well, we run, some light attribute targets and Cyber Dragon, as well as we run things like Effect Veiler in the deck. Now, Effect Veiler, for that reason, is one of the reasons we also run this deck as well, because I would say he's a light attribute and it's a good hand trap as well, so more light fodder for BLS. But BLS helps you get around those big problematic monsters that you're having trouble with. And believe me, you could run him as more than 2-of, but personally from playtesting, I just like it as a 2-of. 3-of gets cloggy, you know what I'm trying to say. But for the most part, yeah, he helps you get around big problematic monsters, which is nice. And then also because, we want some hand traps, and I decided to go with a light attribute, light and dark engine. I decided to go with 3 Effect Veiler in the deck. Effect Veiler negates your monster effects. And like I said, you can easily get around big monsters. You can easily stop, traps. Spells you can't really stop. But effect monsters is one of the problems that this deck has. It can't really stop effects from happening. And effects, monster effects are ways they can get around your bigger monsters. So the fact that it can stop my opponent's monster effects, and number 2, it's a light attribute, means that we run 3 Effect Veiler for that reason. Helps you bring out BLS even that much more easier. Just in case you get dead hands, you can run 3 Allure of Darkness as well. Gives you a little bit of a draw engine for the deck. Like I said, you do have a couple of lights, but the majority of your deck is going to be dark attribute. Like a good majority of it. So if you get too many of one card, you can pitch, Allure of Darkness away, draw into more combo-oriented cards for your deck. Next up, I run 2 the Monarch Storm 4th. Now this is at 3-of, but I was debating, do I run 2, do I run 3, yada yada yada. I'm going back and forth in my head trying to figure this out. At the end of the day, I decided to go with 2-of of this card. Because yes, you could technically do it with Cyber Dragon, but you're mainly going to just do it with Jinzo, and you only have 3 Jinzos you're running. So you get what I'm trying to say here. That's why I'm only running 2 the Monarch Storm 4th. I've tried to cut some things down for space to maybe possibly even tech out a 3rd, which I've tried, and it's been okay. Like sometimes I'll draw double of these and no Jinzo. Well, that's not good. And then sometimes I'll draw 1 of them and a Jinzo, and I'm like, great. So I'm just going with 2 of them right now. I may bump it up to 3 again. I don't know. That's up to you to decide if you're building this deck. Next, we run 2 Infernal Reckless Summoning. Now this card's very useful in the deck for the different combo things you can do with some of your Jinzo monsters. That's all I'm going to say. You guys should know what this card does if you don't already. But this card really works out with some of your Jinzos to bring multiple Jinzos out onto the field. So yeah, very useful. Next, I run 3 Limit Removal. Now, I will admit, even though this card's at 3-of, I've debated about cutting this down to 2-of. And replacing one of it with the 3rd Monarch Storm 4th. But because this deck is 90% machines, I have decided to go with 3-of because I've won games just strictly off limit removal and just hitting my opponent for just enough life points to kill them. So while I say I may cut it, I'm also saying as well that in the same turn, in the same word, sentence, this card's really good at 3-of in this particular deck. You can use it offensively, you can use it defensively. You get the point. But yeah, definitely 3 limit removal. Like I said, you can cut it down if you want to. 3 Call by the Grave. You do not want to have your effects negated. You don't want to have your effects negated. You don't want to be ashed. You don't want to be ogred. You don't want to be any effect veilered. You don't want any of that to happen with this deck. So you run 3 Call by the Graves because you don't want that to happen. Simple as that. Upstart Goblin, Rhoda for your Armageddon and Greffer, Monster Reborn. Draw power, search power, reborn power. Simple. And then 2 Kaiba the Haunted, and you may say, "Well, doesn't Jinzo negate Kaiba the Haunted?" No, it doesn't. You get to activate this card, Reborn Jinzo, and Jinzo will live, which is awesome. So yeah, 2 Kaiba the Haunted. You could run 3 if you want to, but that's up to you to decide. Now let's mosey on over to the extra deck and talk about that for a second. So we got my beautiful Field Center, which I love. We got Zyger, Quapulth Genius, Wee Witch's Apprentice, Wee! We run Cerberus, Phoenix, Unicorn. You know, the basic stuff. Then we also run Bull Sword, and then we run some rank 4s. Bagasucha, the Sleepy Tapir, Tornado Dragon, Exciton Knight, a little mini Utopia package, which is still useful even in today's game. I do run a level 6 because just in case it does happen, I do run Utopia Beyond. You could run this or Strike Bouncer. It's up to you. I just like this because I can OTK a little bit more. And then I run 2 Mega Fleets because I usually find myself going for 1 to 2 a duel. It's really useful to have double Mega Fleet because you are able to go into that. But yeah, that's the extra deck in a nutshell. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I really love this deck. You know, you don't see... I hope Jinzo eventually gets support. Like, I really, really do hope he does get some support here in the future. If you ask me what he needs, I would say... I don't know exactly what he needs. He just needs more monsters that are more useful, that you can able to bring out Jinzo quicker. If you're able to bring out Jinzo quicker... And I think this deck would function very well. I think it needs that and maybe a Reborn card for Jinzo. A Pacific, like, not Machine Reborn, but like a Jinzo Reborn card that does things. I don't know. But overall, he's been really fun to play with, like I said. And I hope you guys all enjoy this deck profile. Go Jizno. Yes, go Jizno. And till next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. Hope you guys all enjoy this deck profile. If you did, please leave a like. And remember to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and good luck dueling to all of you.